this bullpen, if it's not Duran, if it's not Kerkering, if it's not main dudes, it gets away from them quick, and it's killing them. And on one hand, you want to see Don Mattingly be able to be more aggressive, keep his foot on the gas, use his guys to get you back and give you one more shot to win the game. At the same time, he's going to kill his top arms if he has to go to them again and again and again. The underbelly of this bullpen stinks. Like, it's a real problem for me. And I look at it from a few points. Like, I've been horrified by Jose Alvarado this year. I feel like I've said to your father in a previous show that he should be embarrassed by his season. And I believe that. And I think that they have little to no chance to win if he's their primary left-hander out of the bullpen. But that feels like a separate problem when you're watching these 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th options come out of the bullpen and just not able to compete whatsoever. So I ask you this again, when you're trying to reconfigure or reconstruct or bolster or whatever word you want to use, this bullpen ahead of the deadline, how do you do it? Do you have to go out and get a dude and then have everybody slot down? Or do you just have to find more competence in these lower leverage arms and then hope that what you built out in the offseason is just simply better? Because, again, this is about capital. How much can you really do? So if you want to go address the bat, like, how do you do it in the bullpen then? Like, how deep do you go? How hard do you go in trying to address what is clearly a problem for them?
They need a dude. That's what they need. Because if you have another dude, I understand, like, slotting down is part of that. It allows you to do that. But if you have another dude during the season, you can just be like, all right, we got 3 dudes. I don't want to call Kerkering a dude. He's good. I don't think he's our dude yet. But you got 3 guys where you can comfortably throw 2 of 3 every single night without having to throw people more than back-to-back nights. Give people days off. That's what you need. You need that other person so that you can feel confident in any game using them. And of course, if your starting pitching does great, you can probably avoid, if your bat's hit, you can avoid using more than one in a game and then be able to keep using them without overusing them over the course of the rest of the season. So that way, the guys that are slotted down, you have more time to work on them so that when they have to pitch those innings in the playoffs, you can get them in the right spot to be the leverage them the way you need to. You need a dude.
You mentioned Kerkering. I'm kind of curious to know what you think. I feel like in our conversations, I know that you're analytically focused, and I feel like I am as well, but maybe not to the same degree. I mean, I don't know if that's fair or not. We haven't talked all that often. I look at Kerkering, and I guess my position is this: he's 25 years old. He's shown flashes. Certainly, I think that there is a ceiling with him that he can still push higher. I also don't know that he's equipped to handle with consistency the biggest moments. I don't even mean closing. I mean just being a primary setup guy. I like him. I would very much like there to be another capable arm between Duran and him. Maybe that's Keller post-injury. I don't know. But I think that if Kerkering, I think there's probably more with him, and moving forward, I would allow the opportunity to see if he can grab a hold of that. But right now, where this team's at, I don't feel comfortable with it. So I ask you this: do you bank on Kerkering taking that next step as a primary setup guy from the right side, with the insurance policy being, well, Brad Keller will become what we thought he was going to be now that he's healthy when he comes back? Like, is that enough from the right side, or do you say no? Like, they actually have to go out and find another, as you said, dude. Like, it has to be a dude. And then how do you weigh that against what they have going on from the left side, which is this Tanner Banks, Kyle Backus, Tim Meza, Jose Alvarado? Like, is that enough? Because, like, when I look at it, I feel like if you have to go out and get a guy, like a key 7th, 8th, high leverage arm, it's got to be from the left side, just based on what we've seen. So I'm kind of curious to know where you're at on this.
I don't agree with that, because I think the left-right split out of the bullpen is overplayed. And I think a lot of teams are starting to realize that. There's a lot of teams that are being built more and more just trying to get really good relievers at their back end, regardless of what their handedness is. Because you can find lefties that just can go against a lefty, and even if they're not great, they're going to just get better results because it's left on left. You don't need a Josh Hader. You don't need that. They're also very rare. How many great left-handed relievers are there that are even going to be available? Like, there's not really that many. So I don't think the necessity of a left-handed reliever. I just think you need a really good, because a really good reliever is a really good reliever. They're coming in pitching an inning, and you're gonna trust them against whoever they're facing. You don't care. So yes, would it be nice to have a lefty dominant arm? Sure. I don't think you need to like limit yourself to that though, because then you're really gonna be stuck there.
I think where I have the fear is if you go into a Dodgers series, and like this is what's kind of keeping me up. Mm-hmm. I feel like that if we're being, and this is an oversimplification, and we all know that sports are crazy and things can happen, and maybe the Phillies never even have to see the Dodgers, and they are just in the World Series, and that's lovely. The thing I keep coming back to though is if you get into a series with them and you have to go through a pocket of that lineup with some of the left-handers that they have, who do I feel good about on this roster right now that can attack those left-handers other than, obviously the closer? And you're right. Like it doesn't necessarily have to come from the left side, but it's got to be somebody that I feel like can go out and annihilate left-handed hitters. And right now, when I look at this line, when I look at the construction of the bullpen, I'm having a hard time. I'm like, okay, like, so here we are in the 7th inning. Here comes Freddie Freeman in a tie game. And like, I feel like that they are in this moment going to go to Jose Alvarado. Like that's, to me, like that seems like their look. Like I've watched this team and the way that they deploy the bullpen thus far. And like, I don't have it in front of me. I'm sure that they have some righty out there right now that's been pretty good against lefties. It might be Kerkering actually. Like I look at this though, and I'm very concerned. I mean, like Jose Alvarado this year, just to kind of like build out the point, against left-handed hitters, they're hitting 382 with a 978 OPS against him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that just doesn't work. Obviously, like I'm stating the obvious here. But I just feel like there's got to be something, like whether you identify a right-hander that has had great success against lefties this year, like they've got to do something. They've got to do something for those leverage moments where they can wipe out a left-handed bat. And right now, I just don't feel like they have that, and so that's why I kind of come to the conversation like that.
Yes, but here's you also have to think of it from the perspective that like when you face, if you want to use the Dodgers for example, you're talking Freddie Freeman, you're talking Shohei Ohtani. Does it matter who's pitching against those kinds of guys? No, it doesn't really. You want your best possible guy pitching against those kinds of guys. And then also in the postseason, I know you won't, like, because of your starter situation, you're not really going to have that opportunity as much to maybe utilize someone like Luzardo out of the pen. But in the really do or die situations, if you have to, you're going to do it. You're going to go to that. You're going to go to one of your lefty starters over everything else. At the same time, like you look at like what Tim Hill did for the Yankees 2 years ago in the playoffs, he was really good against lefties. No lefties couldn't touch him, and he's Tim Hill. He stinks. Like it's Alvarado's obviously a disaster and all that, but I don't think a left-handed relief arm is as valuable as it used to be perceived. It is valuable if it's really, really good. Like Chapman, Hader, those kinds of guys are extremely valuable. But if you're a really good reliever, like look at Edwin Diaz's numbers against lefties. He's really good against lefties. Like Duran's really good against lefties. A lot of these high-end relievers are just good no matter who they're facing because of the kind of stuff they have. So that's what you need. You need someone who's like that. And if it's a left-handed, sure, that's fine. I don't think you limit your search based off of that. I don't think you have to construct your roster based off of that knowledge. So I don't think you're digging for that left-handed.
Is there a guy out there or two right now that you would sort of circle and say, this is a player that I think profiles and fits what I'm talking about that they might be able to go out and get? And people always ask me about this, and I have a hard time with it. Like, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be available. Like, we're having the Aroldis Chapman conversation.
It's no, not right now. It's tough because I think you literally have to wait with the reliever piece. The bat piece, there's a couple more names that you can pick out, but with the reliever piece, it's literally because the American League has so many teams that are in it, and there's a couple guys out there that, depending on how things break out in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks here, will become available if those teams fall off the cliff. So I think there's opportunity. There's plenty of opportunities to find a guy that's really good at the back of the bullpen if you don't limit yourself to just left-handed relievers, and you're like, okay, we can get a righty too. There's going to be people available that are really good. Don't know who they are yet. It's going to depend on how things break in the American League, honestly.